Hey, Leap, guess we can let bygones be bygones, right?
Sure. Now.
Ah! Whoa! Hey! Whoa!
Delicious.
All right, it's race number 4 here in the quarterfinal round, and we've got up first Heckler, and that is when a racer ends their turn within 1 space of where they started. Heckler moves 2 spaces. And we've got Genius, who can predict what number they'll roll for their main move, and if Genius is right, Genius can take another turn right away. Twin has the interesting power, before the race they can pick a racer who won a previous race and race with their power. So kind of like Egg. And in this kind of setup, you know, in the normal game, Twin might have 1 to 3 racers to pick from, depending on when someone chooses to use Twin. So I used a random roll of the die to determine how many racers Twin would have for this particular lap, and I will do that off camera for each round of this. So it just so happened Cheerleader became the first one, and Cheerleader's power is, before the main move, I can make the racer or racers in last place move 2 spaces, and if that happens, Twin in this case would get to move 1. Finally, Rocket Scientist, when I roll for my main move, I can move double that number, and if I do, I trip. So that's an interesting one, too. All right, so as I had said in the last race, we're mixing it up, so everyone's going to start in a different position for each of the 4 rounds of this race, and the top 2 point getters, when it's all said and done, will be the final 2 that go on to the semifinals in the round of the final 8 racers. Heckler goes first, gets a 1, but right away, when a racer ends their turn within 1 space of where they started, Heckler moves 2, and since Heckler got a 1, Heckler moves 2. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 2. It's actually a 6, not too bad. Twin now, using Cheerleader's power, just goes 2. Rocket Scientist with a 5, and right off the bat, I think Rocket Scientist is going to double that 5, make it a 10, and that's going to cause Rocket Scientist to trip. That's just a strategy we're going to try out here with Rocket Scientist. Heckler's up with a 2. Genius is going to predict a 2 again, gets a 3. Twin now, being in last place, is going to use that cheerleader power of allowing the last place racer to move 2, and then Twin can also just move 1. And now Twin rolls and gets a 3. Rocket Scientist is just going to stand up, and that, because they finished their turn within 1 space of where they started, allows Heckler to move 2. So Rocket Scientist is really going to have to watch not doing that too much, because it does help Heckler. Heckler is now up, gets a 1, once again finishes within 1 space of where he started, so goes 2. Genius is going to predict that they'll roll a 5. It's a 4. Twin. Twin is once again going to use that power of Cheerleader. Move 2, and then 1, and then roll. And gets a 1. Now, I don't think that triggers Heckler, because technically they started their turn down there. All right, Rocket Scientist now. That's 2 on the edge. Rocket Scientist with a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to double that. Heckler, a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 3. It's just a 1. That allows Heckler to go 2. Twin is up and going to do that again. Allow the last place racer to go 2 and then go 1. And Twin gets a 2. Rocket Scientist with a 5. I think Rocket Scientist is going to double this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and trip. Heckler, a 3. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 2. It's a 3. Twin is going to allow both of these now to go 2 spaces. Twin will go 1 and then roll. Gets a 5. Rocket Scientist is just going to stand up. That allows Heckler to go 2. Heckler gets a 1 and once again allows Heckler to go 2. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 4. Oh man. I just cannot get it right. Twin is... You really want to risk that? Twin's going to roll and see. Ooh, just gets a 1. That allows Heckler to go 2. Rocket Scientist is in. Look at that. Rocket Scientist with the first place finish. Heckler now is in. And that is round number 1. I'm going to get a new racer here through random action off camera, and I'll see you in round 2. Welcome back to round number 2 here, and this time it's going to be Lackey is going to be Twin's power, and Lackey says when another racer rolls a 6 for their main move, Lackey gets to move 2 before the other racer moves. Rocket Scientist is up first this time. Gets a 6, is going to double that. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look at that. It's going to exhaust him right away, but that's kind of worth it. And actually, I already screwed something up. Twin was supposed to go 2 because he's using Lackey's power when Rocket Scientist rolled a 6. So Twin goes 2. Twin's turn now. It's a 3. And trips. Genius is going to predict that they will roll a 1. 4. Heckler now. With a 6, that's going to allow Twin to go 2 and advance 3 more spaces. Rocket Scientist is just going to stand up. That is going to allow Heckler to go 2. And now Twin is up. Actually, Twin is just going to stand. That's going to allow Heckler to go 2. Genius is going to choose, they're going to say they'll roll a 3. It's just a 2. Heckler with a 2. Rocket Scientist, a 2. Twin, a 5. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 1. It's a 6. That's going to move Twin 2, but Twin trips. Heckler, it's a 6. Twin goes 2. Rocket Scientist, a 2. Oh no, and goes back 4. Twin is just going to stand up. That allows Heckler to go 2. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 1. It's a 2. Heckler with a 2. Rocket Scientist with a 2. Twin, a 3. Genius will predict they'll roll a 1. All right, Genius rolled a 1, which means Genius gets to go again for predicting it correctly. Oh, sorry. Genius is now going to predict that they will roll a 3. It's a 5. Heckler. And actually, you know what? When Genius went 1, Heckler would have gone 2, but then gone back 2. Heckler's up. Gets a 6. That allows Twin to go 2, but then back 2. Rocket Scientist is really behind. It's a 2 again. Actually, yeah, it's kind of fruitless at this point for this race. Twin now with a 5. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 5. Ooh, close. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goes back 2. Heckler is in with another win. This time first place. Rocket Scientist, a 2. Twin now, a 1. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 3. Just a 1. Lets them go 2. Rocket Scientist with a 4. Twin is in. Twin finally gets an award. So we'll see you back for round number 3. All right, we're back for race number 3, and this time Twin is using the power of legs. Can skip rolling for the main move and move 5 instead. And just to start it off, Twin is going to do that. Twin is just going to go 5. Rocket Scientist with a 1. That's going to allow Heckler to go 2. Heckler with a 5. Genius is going to predict they will roll a 2. It's a 4. Twin now is just going to go 5. Rocket Scientist with a 6. They're going to double that, make it a 12. Heckler, it's a 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 5. It's 1. I should have just said. And Heckler goes 2. Twin is going to keep pace and just go 5. Rocket Scientist is going to stand up, allows Heckler to go 2. Heckler with a 2. Genius is going to predict they roll a 5. Another 1. And Heckler goes 2. I could just say 1 every time, but it's like, okay. Twin, going to go 5. Rocket Scientist with another 6. They're going to double it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Interesting. Heckler with a 5. And we've got Genius now. What the heck? Let's say Genius goes 1. It's a 5. Maybe I should just say the exact same number every single time. Okay, Twin is going to keep pace and go 5 because they will win on their next turn if no one else gets in. Rocket Scientist is going to stand. That's going to allow Heckler to go 2. Heckler is in. Genius, who now needs to, let's just say 6. He got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Genius is going to go again. Let's say 5. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, who's on the Genius train now? Genius, let's say he gets a 4. Oh, it's a 3. Very close. Twin is just going to use legs power and walk right in. That was close though. Genius almost with the epic comeback, but it was not to be. All right, going into the final round, we've got Twin with 4 points. Rocket Scientist has 3 points. And Heckler with 9 points. So let's see who comes away with the wins. All right, final leg, final round here to determine who are the final 2 of the 8. And we've got a Genius up first, and this time Twin is using Skipper's power, and Skipper's power is when anyone rolls a 1 for their main move, Twin will go next in turn order. So Genius is going to predict that they will roll a, how about a 4? It's a 6. Well, not bad at least. Heckler, also a 6. Starting off strong. Can Rocket Scientist make it a third one? Third 6? It can, and it's going to be a 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And exhausted. Twin with a 5 and trips. Okay. So Genius now is going to say they'll roll a 1. It's actually a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they hop forward 1. Heckler with a 5. And hopping forward 1. Rocket Scientist stands up and Heckler can go 2. Twin stands up and Heckler can go 2, but then back 4. Genius is going to predict a 3. No, Genius will predict a 1. Sometimes that's how it is. I was playing for the point and then the extra turn, but all right. Heckler now, also a 3. Rocket Scientist, a 1. And that's going to get Rocket Scientist a point, and it's also going to move Heckler 2 and cause Heckler to trip. Twin, actually, that 1. Yes, that 1 means, well, Twin was next anyhow in the turn order, so that actually doesn't count that well for him. A 1. Now it counts because Twin gets to go again because of Skipper's power and gets a 3. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a, let's go with a 5. Heckler's going to stand up, but because they finished their turn within 1 space of where they started, moves 2. Rocket Scientist, 6. Okay, so that's going to be doubled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rocket Scientist making a strong play to get in there. And so Twin now with a 5. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 1. It's a 1. And well, that allows Heckler to go 2. But this is an interesting question. Genius rolled a 1 and can take another turn after this one. But when anyone rolls a 1 for their main move, they go next. So I think we do Genius's turn again, but then it becomes Twin's turn. So Genius is going to say they'll roll a 2. It's a 6. And trips. So now I think it goes back to Twin. That's how we're going to play it. Twin now. A 6. Genius is just going to stand up, allowing Heckler to go 2 and then 2 more. Heckler's up, gets a 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in. How about Rocket Scientist, who just stands up? Twin with a 4 and back 2. Genius is going to predict they'll roll a 1. They get in. Genius gets some points. All right, so where does that leave us? We've got 14 points for Heckler. And we've got a tie here. 4 points for Rocket Scientist and 4 points for Twin. And 3 for Genius. So I think between the two of them, the tie is going to go to, I'm just calling this on the fly, the tie is going to go to the one that won all of their points rather than just land on the space. That's how we could do it. Another way we could do it in the future maybe is just have another round. However, we have a clear first place winner. So I think if we were tied in points for second place, in such a way that both second place finishers had their second place, their tied points were made up of winning either first or second, then maybe we could make an argument for that. But I'm going to go with Twin, give Twin the edge on that one. All right, so with that being said, Heckler and Twin are the ones that are going to go on. And so we have our final 8. I've yet to figure out then what the matches will be. But these are your final 8. Who will be the magical athlete, the first magical athlete tournament champion? We've just got 2 semifinal matches left and then the final itself. Bye. Thanks for watching.